Hi, welcome to Right to Top. I'm Adam. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through an IELTS Task 1 report for the academic writing section. We're going to look at a line graph, and I'm going to walk you through the entire step from looking at the graph and picking out the important information to writing your introduction, your overview statement, and your two body paragraphs. I'm not going to write a conclusion, but I'll talk to you about that at the end when we get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is interpret the graph and plan our report. Now, I've told you many times, before you start writing anything, you should always plan what you're going to write. This is extremely important in the task 1. You cannot begin to write your report without knowing what information you're going to include, what information you're going to exclude. Okay? So let's start by, first of all, understanding what we're looking at. We're looking at a graph that shows the movie ticket sales by genre, which means the type of movie, from 1980 to 2010. On the left axis, we have the ticket sales in millions. And at the bottom, we have the different genres corresponding to the lines in the graph. So in case you can't really see it very clearly, because it's a bit small there, the orange line is action-adventure movies. The green line is animation movies. The blue line is comedy. Yellow, horror, and gray is documentaries. So those are the 5 genres we're looking at. Now, it's very important that you understand what the task is asking you to do. The task is asking you to summarize the graph and report on the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So this is the key. It's a summary. You're not asked to include everything. And remember, you have a minimum of 150 words, maximum of 200. There's no real maximum, but I suggest no more than 200. And this is not a lot of words, okay? It's actually a very short report, so you have to be very careful in what you include. Now, the reason I say don't go above 200 is because you don't actually need to. You can say everything that is important to say in about 175 words. That's what you should be aiming for. 150, you don't want to miss the minimum. 200 is too much. 175, perfect length. Now, what are you looking for in these graphs? You're looking for the highs, you're looking for the lows, you're looking for the trends or patterns, and you're looking for anomalies to those trends or patterns. An anomaly is something that goes against the trend, that stands out, okay? So right away, what do we notice about this graph? All of the genres, well, 4 of them are going up. All of 4 started low, went high. Only comedy films went lower. They finished the period lower than they started. Okay? So that's very important to notice. Another thing you want to notice is the action, adventure, and animation follow a similar line. Both go up significantly, especially after the year 2000, where they have an even steeper incline. And again, horror and documentaries also follow a similar line, and both go up not as significantly. So those are the things you want to point out. And that's probably how I'm going to separate my body paragraphs. This means I'm going to talk about comedy probably in one paragraph, and I'm going to put all 4 of the others in another. Why? Because comedy is going down, everybody else is going up. And then I'm going to put action, adventure, and animation together, documentaries and horror together. Now, another thing you want to also have a bit of an idea of before you get started is the vocabulary you're going to use. So let's look at some vocabulary. You don't want to use genre too many times because that's given to you. So what's a synonym? Type. Movie types, types of movies, okay? You make sure that you have a few words for going up, a few words for going down. So increased, jumped if it's a big increase, rose, rise, as the case may be. Same for down, decline, fall, drop, decrease, etc. If you want to write 1,600 million for the ticket sales, that's fine. You can write 1,600 million or 1.6 billion. Writing the billion as opposed to the million and the 1.6, again, just shows vocabulary range. So try to do that whenever you can. Make sure you get your numbers correct though. 800 million is 800 million. You could write 0.8 billion. It's a little bit pushing it though. Above 1 billion, switch. Rebound. So comedy is going down and then rebounds back up. Okay, so when you have that switch, that change of direction, you can call that a rebound. The entire period, 1980 to 2010, this is the span or the period of time we're talking about. use the prepositions over and during. So changes happen over a span or over a period of time. Something happens during that time. So if you're talking about one point in between the beginning and end, during. If you're talking about something that happens over the entire period, over. If it's a big jump or a big increase or a big decrease, you say significance. If it's not so fast, steady. And then you want to talk about something that's multiplying. So double, 2. Triple, 3 times. Quadruple, 4 times. Anything above 4, just use the number and the word times. 5 times, 6 times, 12 times. And respectively. By now, you should all know this word. You're going to use it a lot in this task. 2 things mentioned, and then 2 pieces of information about those 2 things in the same order. So respectively. So these are some words we're going to use. So let's look at the actual task. The graph below shows the number of movie tickets sold around the world each year from 1980 to 2010. Ticket sales, according to genre, are presented in millions. This is the information that's given to you. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Again, remember, summarize. Don't give me everything, give me the key things. Reporting the main features, the things that are important, not everything. Again, to summarize. And make comparisons where relevant. Don't compare everything. If it's relevant, make the comparison. If it's not, don't. Now, the key rule to task 1 is the 3 C's. Clear, concise, correct. Make sure it's easy to follow what you're writing. Make sure that it's concise. Don't say more than you have to. Make things brief. Make them short. Okay? Make your sentences tight with information. That's why you shouldn't need more than 200 words. And be very careful about this. Make sure your information is correct. I've seen many reports where the numbers actually don't agree with the graph. All you're doing when you make that kind of mistake, what you're doing is telling the graders that you're not paying attention. Okay? It's a silly mistake. Try not to make it. No point losing points over that. Okay? Let's get into it. Okay, so now all I want to do with the introduction is take the task that was given to me and paraphrase it. I don't want to add any new information. I don't want to get any new ideas involved. I don't want to get into any of the details. I'm taking the task that the IELTS test gave me, and I'm just changing the words, maybe changing the order, depends how you want to do it. The line chart presents. So graph, line chart, same thing. Shows, presents. The number of movie ticket sales, tickets sold around each year. So I'm going to show you the changes. When they're showing you something each year, they're showing you the changes. Around the world, global sales of movie tickets. 1980 to 2010, a 30-year period starting in 1980. Sales are divided by film type, genre, and are shown in millions. Presented, shown. Okay? Very simple. I took their show, I put presents. I took their present, I put show. You can put other words. The line chart gives the number of ticket sales, etc. Global ticket sales. Now, you want to have an overview statement. You want to have a very general, big picture statement. Overall, always start with overall. It's easy because you're looking at the overall picture of the graph. Sales have increased during this span, with the exception of comedy films, which saw a slight decline. So 4 of them went up, 1 of them went down. That is my general overview. Now, because I only have a one-sentence overview, I personally am going to add it to my introduction. So I'm going to have my introduction paragraph with the overview. I'm going to have 2 body paragraphs, and that's it. Okay? So let's get into our actual report. Okay, so just to refresh our memories, we're looking at all the details. I'm going to talk about comedy, decline. I'm going to talk about action adventure, big jump. I'm going to talk about animation, even bigger jump. And then the bottom 2, horror and documentaries, not as significant. So here is my body, the 2 paragraphs to the body. Comedy films were top sellers. They were number 1, with just over 600 million tickets sold in 1980, and steadily fell to around 350 million by 2000. Now, I put around 350, just over 600, because I can't see the specific number. I have to be close enough. If I can't see it specific, put just over, around, approximately, about, etc. So in 2000, roughly equal to horror film ticket sales. So in 2000, comedy and horror about the same. So I want to mention that. That's a comparison that I'm making, okay? At this point, 2000, the genre saw a rebound. So the genre, I'm talking about comedy, because that's my main focus for the paragraph, saw a rebound. So it started going back up and finished the period with about 500 million in sales by 2010. Remember, don't put numbers without telling me what those numbers are. So 600 million tickets, around 350 million. They're in the same sentence. I don't need to put it the second time. In the last sentence, I have to refresh the reader's mind. 500 million what? In sales by 2010, okay? All four of the other genres witness an increase in sales. So I'm giving you an overview of all four of the others, and then I'm going to give you the details. With action, adventure, and animation movies showing the greatest rises, especially after 2000. So after 2000, both of them went up quite a bit. Action adventure ticket sales almost quadrupled from just under 400 million to about 1.5 billion over the span of the graph, while animation films, which started at the same level as documentaries in 1980, grew 12 times, going from 100 million to 1.2 billion. It's a long sentence, but I have a lot of information. I'm talking about action adventure, I'm talking about animation, I'm talking about documentaries. I'm giving you key features in terms of the size of the increases of those two, and I'm making a comparison with documentaries. Animation and documentaries started the same level. Animation 12 times bigger, documentaries not so much, as the next sentence will say. Documentaries and horror films, though tripling and nearly doubling respectively, means documentaries tripling, horror films doubling, almost nearly doubling, had a less significant rise. Less significant relative to all the others, to action, adventure, and animation, which had huge increases. And of course, comedy, which had a decrease. Now, am I going to write a conclusion here? No, I'm not. Why? Because I'm not making any argument. A conclusion is there to reach when you've made an argument. You're making an argument, you're trying to convince somebody, the reader, and then the conclusion should be that point where you actually say, see, I've convinced you. You're not doing that here. This is a summary. You're not reaching any conclusions. You have your overview statement, your overall statement. Now, if you want to, you can take that overall statement and put it at the end as your conclusion. Do you need to write in conclusion, ... No, because you're not making any conclusions. You're presenting a summary, right? So you can say overall, all four out of five had an increase, one had a decrease. I prefer to put it in the beginning with my introduction, okay? And now, there it is. There's the entire report. I put the overall statement with the introduction. I have 3 paragraphs, 179 words, and I've answered the task and I've reported on the main features. I made a couple comparisons that I thought were relevant. This should get a 9 anyway, hopefully. So that's all there is to it, okay? If you want to see this graph and the report slowly and clearly, you can go to write2top.com. I put the link in the description box. You can go see that there on my site. If you have any questions, please ask me here below in YouTube or go to my social pages and ask me there. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you guys get a high score on your IELTS test. And come back for more videos about all kinds of things to help you improve your writing, help you improve your test scores, etc. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.